Thank you so much to Touch and the replenishment, because I think it's as if they knew that today, as a South African, as a football lover, as the football community and fraternity in South Africa, but more so as a people, and it was much needed to get some reassurances, to get some regalvanization of spirit through the gospel that we've just heard.
Sindi Ntombela was great.
Sindi Ntombela is her name. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sindi Ntombela. We appreciate this because, like I said, it came unbelievably so very early this morning. The black bird of death spreading the news through its chirps that Bongi Ntuli's 90 minutes is up. That he's played his 90 minutes. He's played it holistically, fully. He's played it with all his heart. But his 90 minutes is up. And as we mourn alongside with the Ntuli family, with the Zungu families, with the Amazulu family at large, we ask you to put them in their prayers, in your prayers. Rest in peace, Bongi Ntuli. Let's take a break. When we come back on the other side, the three wise gentlemen, not always so wise, are here, but we'll start it off with a bit of respect, because we're going to speak to the father of Bongi Ntuli. We'll give him a call to pass our condolences holistically as a team here in studio, because just a couple of weeks ago, when he got married,
we were
talking about him, making jokes of him. I actually sent him a text congratulating him, and we had a bit of a laugh about it.
Yeah.
And I've known Bongi from when he was still here in Johannesburg, playing in Johannesburg, and we've always had a chuckle. He was always the funny guy, a big guy with a big heart.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely a friend of the show. I know he did listen to the show. So we're going to pay respects to the Ntuli family. We'll speak to his father when we come back. 16 after the hour 6, we're going to get into what we're going to be doing today, because I do have 2/3 of the three wise men. Let me start with Victory, the principal, Victor Hlongwane, former PSL referee of the year, former CAF referee as well, joining us every single Monday. No controversies, nothing big this weekend. I don't know what he's going to give us. What do you have?
Yeah, let's start with our failed fitness test. They are back. They passed and they are
Earlier
back.
on, we had beginning of the season, referees that failed the fitness test.
Yeah.
So they've retaken it.
They've
now.
retested and they are back.
So that's just fitness. I wonder if they fit to do their job.
10 games into the season.
Ramutsindela is there.
Okay, we'll get into it.
The second one, it's remember last week it was reported by SABC Sports that our referee Holang stipend. Abastoli. Performance we won the weekend. So
so performance Baholile Bimnand.
This weekend as in a measure.
Okay,
yeah,
we'll get into that as well.
The last
referees weren't paid their stipends. I think it was about a week ago, and then boom, now they're performing well because they've been paid their stipends.
Yeah, the last one is penalties that we'll be talking about. Sundowns penalties against Al Ali, against Wydad, and also we also watch UJ and Royal AM. So we'll try and differentiate between all these penalties.
Mazara?
Yeah, we've got the latest on Brendan Trute. I've seen several media reports saying he's sacked, and I mean we broke the story last week, but I'll explain what the latest is at the moment, because if you've noticed, the club is yet to actually issue an official statement that the coach is on his way out. And then my colleague Velile Mnyandu was at Naturena this afternoon. There's a Africa Cup of Nations trophy tour. It landed in Johannesburg and it went to the village. And Velile got to speak to sporting director Kaizer Jr., who, for the first time, I think it is, gave his take on Coach Arthur Zwane's demotion to the youth ranks since the technical team changes. And then there's that burning story around Chiefs and youth players who've been released, but the club wants a training and compensation development fee.
We'll get into all of that, but firstly, as promised, I've got on the line Ubaba Ntuli, who is the father of Bongi Ntuli. Bongi Ntuli, born on the 28th of March in 1991. born, and of course was a South African professional soccer player, a striker for AmaZulu as well. Pietermaritzburg is his place of where he succumbed. A man also born in Pietermaritzburg. Started his youth career in 2009 at Sobantu Shooting Stars before moving to Golden Arrows B team. He played in his career for Mamelodi Sundowns, Platinum Stars, Golden Arrows, and of course his last team, a team very dear and close to his heart, dare I say, AmaZulu. With his father on the line. Bongi Ntuli, I think have an issue there. We'll try to get to Bongi Ntuli back on the line. Like I said, it's just to pass a collective condolences to the Ntuli family and speak to his father and allow him to tell us about his son as we celebrate the life of Bongi Ntuli, who met his passing earlier this morning in a statement that was released by AmaZulu Football Club that went far and wide, of course, as it should be for somebody that was as prominent as he was in football. I saw Peter Musimane, of course, who would have been his coach at Sundowns, have something to say about it as well. Called him a player with a big heart, which was great to see coaches that have coached you before say something. But the statement, when it did come, saying it is with a heavy heart that we inform you of the untimely passing of our beloved centre forward and loyal servant, Bongi Ntuli, who was very recently diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer, which materialized and ultimately led to his death at the Midlands Medical Private Centre in Pietermaritzburg this afternoon. Baba Ntuli.
Yeah.
Oh, Thulani esikhuluma naye ugobiziwe okuyena ubaba ka Bongi Nkosi. Ninjani baba? Ngibuza nje ngazi kodwa ke ezulwini kubuzwa impilo.
Hayi bandla. Noma kunje kodwa kuyadleka. Kuyadleka.
Baba, siningi South Africa sithole sesithuke ngempela sibona indaba ezibhlungu kanjani besingayilindele besingazi nokwazi siningi ukuthi beke kwaba khona nokugulanyana kuyena uBongi Nkosi.
Yebo, mntanami kube khona ukugulanyana okungatheni. Okubende isikhashana esifishane. Nathi ke besitshela ukuthi nje umndeni kaBongi umkhuhlane nje ozodlula. Njengale mpilo lenzuku uphathe umkhuhlane udlule umkhuhlane. Ube leso simo sethukile kakhulu. Uma sihlangana nenkinga ukuthi umfana usegula kakhulu. Wathanda ukusishaqisa impela kakhulu lokho.
Ukugula bekuqale nini baba ngoba ke ngiyakhumbula kulamaviki adlule bekuthiwa uyalulama usebonakala engcono. Ubeqale nini ukugula kanti futhi ke waba
kumqale last month. Ithani bezodlala nepolokwane. Ilapho kabuya khona engasaphilile kahle. Wakungena komkhuhlane ke njalo kuze kube imanje.
Kule insuku zakhe zamaviki amabili amathathu adlule baba menimbona ube umuntu enjani bekumuntu osakwazi ukuthi ahleke agcona abanye
hayi umpelo ubehleka edlala iPlayStation egcona abanye kamnandi nje kuncokolwa kudlala
ekuyiyona into enimazi eyiyona vele
into vele eyiyona engashintsheki
ukushiya kwakhe ke baba nokudlula kwakhe emhlabeni ke ngiyathemba ukuthi kube into ethe ifika ningayilindele nani ninaye esibhedlela into njalo ngasitshela okuncane kangakanani ngaleso sikhathi esethi ke
sihlukumezekile kakhulu umndeni kaBongi ngoba sithe masifika esibhedlela satshela into eyodwa ukuthi emaphashini kunezilonda. So now basebe bemoma amanzi ke yes sithi sabuka ukuthi hayi ukula kungenza kumfana
zibe buhlungu kakhulu ngoba baba nathi la emsakazweni besikhuluma ngaye mhlambe amaviki amabili amathathu adlula sihalalisela indaba yomshado.
Exactly, nathi ngokunjalo besiphuma kuona impela sihalalisa sijabula.
Sihleka nje sijabula nje kanti sokhala.
Exactly.
Baba usupportwe yiningi le South Africa limthanda saqala ku Arrows limthanda la eGoli ku Sundowns lehla naye le kumaZulu bamamele kuyimanje ufuna ukuthini kubo ngengane yakho
kakhulukazi la isuke khona kwi Golden Arrows lithi ama Golden Arrows siyahlelelwe kakhulu kanye nani the Golden Arrows management abaphathi ushemen abadlali abalambeli be-Arrows abamphatha kahle kakhulu uBongi ngalezo nsuku ngibuye ngiye kwi-Sundowns iMamelodi Sundowns ngokunjalo ngikhuluma okufanayo ukuthi njengoba bakaBongi ngibonile impatho phakathi kwelamaqembu engikhuluma ngawe ngisawabalile ngambona uBongi enothando namaqembu engisuka kubona ngwabala ngambona uBongi ezimisela ngokudlala abonga kakhulu noma sekwi-platinum ebolekisiwe iMamelodi Sundowns akashintshile uBongi kuyinto eyodwa uma iyaphambili kuphela akahlehlele emuva ilokho nje mntanami sekuya back to amaZulu hayi lapho-ke wayesenza imanga lapho sengibona ukuthi hayi umfana usezingeni eliphezulu kakhulu ngokuyimisela nanothando into akade enayo.
Siyabonga baba ngiyacabanga ukuthi isikhala sakhe emndenini kuyoba kuyinto enkulu nje into esingayenza ukuthi sinibeke emthandazweni sinitshele ukuthi into ayenze ebholeni into siyokhuluma ngayo ukuze kube unaphakade sixoxa udaba lwakhe nendima ayidlala. Siyabonga kunini ukuthi ke nikwazile ukuthi nithathe ingane yenu nithi nayo ingane asiphileni kanye nayo nisiboleke yona.
Hey baba mntanami ngiyabonga kakhulu ngibonga uShemeni wamaZulu FC ngibonga imanagement yamaZulu FC ngibonga abalandeli bamaZulu FC ngalomzuzu omzima kangaka uma ngakhuluma nawe nje mntanami njengamanje obasikhuluma uBongi ube yiNazaretha elasebuhleni la endlini njengamanje akhusha indawo ukubeka unyawo amaNazaretha agcwele indlu yakubo kaBongi ala support uBongi azosesula izinyembezi.
And iba njalo ke baba ngoba uma ubuka amaZulu njengeqembu ubuka uShemen bekuwumndeni uBongi kubona.
Exactly.
Baba siyabonga niyozasasisa ke mhlambe just through iclub ukuthi ezemingcwabo nokumbeka kuyobe khamba kanjani.
Umntanami ngibonga kakhulu sicelela uBongi nje ukuthi aphumule ngokuthula uBongi asisebenzele iqembu noma esenalena kodwa iqembu libe namandla okwenza okufunwa uShemeni wamaZulu nabalandeli nemanagement yonkana.
Thank you so much to Thulani Ntuli speaking, of course, on behalf of the family, as well as the chairman of AmaZulu, for making it happen. Obviously, he wasn't in a state to speak, but I'm pretty sure as the week goes, we'll be able to hear him. Let's take a break. When we come back, get into the business of the day. 30 after the hour 6, exactly 30 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Sports are amplified with Andile. I am Andile Ncube. I've got the three wise men with me. It's Mazola as well as the referee in Victor Tlangwane, the principal. Guys, it's been quite a weekend. Let's go straight into it and touch on it a little bit. Very disappointed with the Proteas. I mean, how bad a loss was that?
Yeah, that was poor.
But we'll get into more detail with Cass Naidu hopefully tomorrow when we do Cricket Tuesdays and take a look at it.
Cricket Tuesdays now.
Yeah, it's Cricket Tuesdays, Chief. We move with it here.
Okay.
Here we move. It doesn't do anything because we still make it to the semi-finals. But that was a bad loss.
That was poor.
That was Janssen. What happened?
Yeah,
Lungingiti, not a great bowling attack, but also we need to start having conversations about a man that I've backed on this radio station so long.
We were chasing
Temba
327.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get to 100.
No, we didn't.
Wickets were falling like...
Let's hear from Rob Walter now on the defeat.
To be fair, just today that we were outskilled really. I didn't feel that was a 320 pitch. They obviously got off to a flyer. We pulled it back nicely. I thought Kesh have bowled beautifully today along with KG. And yeah, 320 was too much on that deck, and then from a bowling point of view they put us under pressure right from the word go. Couldn't claw our way back in, and as I said, just got outskilled on the day.
Let's go now and move on to, because I mean that was bad, that was awful. There's no excuses there. But let's move on to the Premier League, where Mikel Arteta was fuming, saying that it's a disgrace that the goal was allowed to stand over the weekend.
Yeah, we have to talk about the result because you have to talk about how the hell this goal stand up, and it's incredible. I feel embarrassed, but I have to be the one now coming here to try to defend the club and please ask for help, because it's an absolute disgrace that this goal is allowed. It's an absolute disgrace because it's not a goal. For many reasons, it's not a goal. For more than one reason at least, it's not a goal. And it's too much at stake here. We put so much effort. Again, I feel embarrassed. I've been more than 20 years in this country, and this is nowhere near the level to describe this as the best league in the world. I am sorry.
Scathing that. The 64th minute Gordon goal there by Newcastle United, sinking Arsenal 1-0. Nabato benefit.
It's because he didn't benefit.
Benefiting is a South African thing, Chief.
VAR is there. VAR says the ball, the whole circumference, the referee.
That actually happened in the Pirates game.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a look at it on Soccer Zone. There was a point where we need to question, what does the whole circumference mean, and do we completely understand that? Because it happened in the Orlando Pirates game and players didn't know whether to play on or not. So we'll take a look at that on Soccer Zone a little bit later on with the same team here. But let's go now to coaches' reactions from the weekend, starting with Jose Ribeiro speaking about the lack of goals at Orlando Pirates.
Like I said before, our performance is a 4-0 performance. This is a scoring game. In the league of the almost scoring goals, we are leading by far. We are, nobody can take us. But in the scoring ones, we are not. And today was one more opportunity to see it. It's 120 minutes. We did everything, but we couldn't. The ball is not going to the net. We have an excellent August early in the season. Everything we shot went through, and we managed to win games. And now we are in the other side of the river.
South Africa. 1833. Let's go now to a man that was jubilant, celebrating, and in an excited mood. What did he say? What did he say about Kaizer Chiefs?
He said he knew when they were playing them in the opening round that he was good for a good cup run.
Well, I mean, he did very well on the weekend. A hat-trick coming out of that game. Have a listen here. It's Amazulu coach Pablo Martin.
We were lucky it helped that Pirates play before us, but I can feel that those guys who are from Durban and who maybe are supporting some other teams, after those teams, Amazulu is the team they want to support. And I felt that today in the stadium. I felt many more people cheering us. In Durban, Amazulu is the number one, and we show everyone today.
That's it for all there was so much, but of course today, it was not programmed as usual. So let's play the goals coming out of that. Go straight to the principal.
Basabanta bobedi momamedi Stellenbosch. El Chumera Pambi. Aswana Imadile. Ipono City. Ncube. Penalty. 2-0. Devin Titus.
Those are the goals from the weekend. Let's take a break. When we come back, we go to Victor with some of the big decisions made this weekend, and Mazola with the big news. Kukuna United, do they still have a coach or not? A lot of decisions made over the weekend that, maybe you might be happy or unhappy with. The man to look at some of those is, the principal. What do you have?
Let's start with Sundowns. My red card, it's a concern. For serious foul play that will send a message to Thulani to say, let them reduce. Ngoba masebadlala Africa, they are representing the country. So mabathola ma red card, so I'm not. Ngoma uyebo Egypt bakuthi Mamelodi very good. As fun, but Mamelodi too much red card. Mamelodi is good, Orlando good, just like that. So I think Thulani siya ku the same game here.
Is that it?
Yeah, no. Siyaku the game
just like the action from this weekend's Carling Cup. Victoria
Yeah, no, listen, it wasn't the best games this past weekend.
Yeah.
After a fire start
Yeah.
this weekend, not some of the best. But nonetheless, yes, Alakli?
Yeah, there was a penalty appeal which went to VAR, but Mkhulis Ubambi ball. What I like with VAR, it's VAR was able to
That was the one in the box, yeah?
Yes, because the hand was in a natural position. So that was good to see. Again, when Sundowns played Wydad yesterday, there was a penalty in the 70th minute, which was given by VAR. Here, there, the hand was extended, and the VAR could easily give that decision as penalty. But when you come home, we had UJ and Royal AM Amantombozan, the same penalty, hand in a natural position, was given. And because there's no VAR, but we can confirm here, Lana, the hand was in a natural position.
Wasn't supposed to be given.
It was not supposed to be given, but because there's no VAR.
Tell me, the referees that work in the women's game in South Africa,
Yes.
and the referees that work in the DStv Premiership, so the Hollywood Superbet, the Hollywood Bet Super League, as well as the DStv Premiership, is it the same referees?
No, it's not the same. The only same is
In the mic, Tafik, in the mic.
The only same is the referees in the Premier League and NFD is same panel, but NFD Hollywood Bet have got their own panel.
But what I'm saying is, it's the same quality, it's the same maybe qualification of refereeing.
No, remember we're starting Women's League. So if it was the same, you'll see more of Akona there. But you don't see Akona there because...
So what is the qualification difference?
Remember, you have to have level 1 to level 7 in the Premier League. So for you to be in the PSL, you must have level 6 or 7.
And then in the Hollywood Super
In the
Bets?
Hollywood, they can't be strict and say have level 7. At least level 5, because level 5 is province.
So then are we surprised that we get that many mistakes?
Because we are beginning. This is the second year of the league, so you'll expect.
Second year.
Second year or third
started
year.
in 2021.
Yeah, so we are still crawling, but we have a lot of work to do in ensuring that.
But what I'm saying is, then it would make sense why we have so many issues with decisions made.
Because it's some sort of a developmental.
Yes.
Not only for
only for women's
football,
league,
but for the refereeing staff as well.
Exactly. So we have a lot of work to do, because if you check, the last time we had an offside of 3 meters onside. Where there
was an offside where the player with the ball that's attacking still had to beat a player.
but offside.
Offside. So you can see there's lack of knowledge somewhere. Where
But I mean, an exciting league nonetheless. Absolutely enjoy it. I think if you have never given it a chance, please give it a chance.
Watch a few games.
Watch a few games.
Don't wait until the WAFCON and the Women's World Cup to have an
start
opinion.
Having a comment.
To suddenly start having an opinion about who should be the goalkeeper.
One more.
No.
Okay. No, thank you for nothing. We appreciate it. No, thank you very much for absolutely nothing. You gave us nothing.
I think we must bench him on some.
No. We're benching you today. No, you can go home. Thank you very much. Masal, the big one. Let's start straight with it.
Okay.
Do the Kukuna United have a coach?
Technically, no.
What do you mean?
So here's the situation. Last week we broke the story that Brendan Ntuli wouldn't survive the next meeting with his bosses regarding his future. Subsequent to that, Morgan Gould, assistant coach, and goalkeeper coach Hannes Absalon were both dismissed. They were not on the bench. I was at the game between Kukuna and TX Galaxy on Saturday night in Polokwane. I had the official team sheet. Their names were not there. There's a new goalkeeper coach, or maybe promoted from within the club. And Brendan Ntuli still survives. At the moment, what I can say is, in principle, there's an agreement to part ways. But at the moment, the two parties, my understanding is that they are dealing with the coach's settlement. So don't be surprised.
So a professional relationship is gone. It's a matter of just
it's a
how
formality.
Do we go apart?
It's a formality, because obviously the coach still had a 2-year contract. I stand under correction, but I think he still had 2 more years to go besides the current season. with Kukuna United. So there has to be negotiations over a settlement. He can't just bye-bye, here's your 1 month salary or 2 month salary. There are a couple of clauses that were inserted into the contract, obviously, as it is normal. And that hasn't been agreed as to which way to go. So if you see Brendan Trute sitting on the bench against Orlando Pirates tomorrow night at Orlando Stadium, don't be surprised. But it doesn't necessarily mean he will be the Sekhukhune coach.
But can you imagine having a coach on the bench who is on their way out, who by all means is just a matter of paperwork?
Exactly. So I think the club at the moment still trying to buy time, save face. You can't dismiss, because there can be legal ramifications to this, to dismiss a coach who still has a contract, has not been paid out his settlement and things like that. So obviously the club, within reason, are trying to deal with it carefully. They are yet to make an official announcement with regards to the future of the coach. But I mean, I was at the stadium. I interviewed both coaches, and I can tell you now, at the very latest, by the end of the week, there probably would have been a decision with regards to Brendan Trute's future. But in principle, there has been a parting of ways.
What else you
have? Well, I think let's go to, I mentioned earlier that there was an AFCON trophy tour, and it landed in Johannesburg, and the organizers, Total Energies, took it to Naturena. And for the first time, apart from a lot of other things that were discussed at Naturena, sporting director Kaizer Motaung Jr. did give his opinion on the demotion of Coach Arthur Zwane.
I think I also can't say that it's a demotion. I think that everyone who is able and luckily and privileged to work at this institution understands that we all get called to duty, and you know, if you get deployed to that position or in that position, we're all very grateful to be able to wear that badge. And I think Coach Arthur is one person who also understands where this team comes from, what this team means, and is very focused at being able to bring the talent that we know the team wants in the future from our academy side. So just very much focused on the task.
Yep.
No, listen, Kaizer Jr. is very good with these words. He's very good with these words, very eloquent, and I love it for the club and I love it for Kaizer Jr. as well. Yeah. I think he's very professional in the way that he answered that, but it's a demotion.
It is a demotion.
From head coach to assistant, or from assistant to head coach, back to assistant, and then back to development. Yeah, it's a demotion.
And the thing at the moment is that Coach Vela Kumalo is the head coach of the Reserve League team. So there isn't an official title for Coach Arthur Zwane at the moment. But my opinion is that I've always felt that he's the ideal man to be in charge of the youth ranks of the club. I mean, even from his short stint, that's last season, with Kaizer Chiefs, you could see from the young players coming in. Yes, the fans were hammering the coach and whatever, but you could see that he sees something special. With enough time, those players could have been key players, but where are they now?
I've been privy to watching him work with young players.
Yeah,
Arthur Zwane. I've been privy to, when the Gordinhos were still part of that development team. I can tell you now that he had a very good way with those young players. So perhaps he's calling for now. I don't think he should give up on senior coaching completely.
No, absolutely.
But I think for now he'll do a very good job there for Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you could I think when young players are working with their idols, their icons, and their icons are teaching them the Chiefs way. Pardon me for using that phrase, but teaching them the Chiefs way, they react a lot better. And you could see with Yomdu Shabalala, Samkelo Zwanes and the like, they were much better. It's a pity results were not coming Coach Arthur Zwane's way, and unfortunately he then had to be demoted.
Is that the first time? I think that might be the first time.
What?
In how long have we been here? 2 years. That we hear the voice of Kaizer Jr. First time, Timmy? Yeah. Come on. Welcome, Kaizer. Come on, welcome. Come on. It's a clip first. Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe, who knows?
It's a call.
You could be sitting here, so
Next time it's a call. Next time it's a voice note. There you go. Welcome to Kaizer Jr. there. What else do you have?
Sticking with the news at Naturena, this is a story that kind of blew up a little bit last week, but in bits and pieces with regards to some youth players. The name that was more prominent was that of Puso Ditejane, who, if you remember, was part of Coach Morena Ramorebudi's Bafana AFCON squad during the off-season, and he made an appearance off the bench and started one game, the third and fourth place playoff in Durban. And he had trained with the senior team as well, with potentially a future looking bright to play for the senior team. Now, the story is that, or the allegations is that Kaizer Chiefs asked reserve league players to go be used as ball boys for their Carling Cup knockout game against Amazulu about 2 weeks ago.
Can I defend Chiefs here?
Yeah.
And Carling is a beer brand.
Yeah.
That cannot in any way, it's an alcoholic brand, that cannot in any way utilize or use. I mean, there was a players thing at Sundowns as well, where there's religious things. At Richards Bay, for instance, Gulum, the keeper can't play. So I don't think that you can have the under 18 ball boys as per normal in and around the field during the Kaizer Chiefs game.
Fair enough.
So if Chiefs are to say, guys, we can't use the younger ones because it's an alcoholic brand, we don't want the youngsters, and legally so as well, from a Carling point of view, in and around alcohol sponsorship and promotion. So let's ask the 18, 19-year-olds who play at our MDC team to come and be the ones that do this for us. Surely, as a once-off in this tournament, in this competition, that's not a lot to ask for from a club point of view.
I was the first referee to do Carling Black Label Cup. There were no young ones there. It was old people because it's a beer cup.
18 and over.
And now they are no longer called ball boys. They are called ball retrievers.
Yes.
So during COVID, they used the reserve players to do a ball retrieving job. So it's allowed. So if someone refuses, it's like they tell you to.
But under those circumstances, Mazola, then I think Chiefs have a leg to stand on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The club needs you right now. We need you to do this. Yes, you're a young player who feels they should be in the senior squad as it is. You're knocking on the senior squad's door. You're knocking for a contract, and maybe you're a little dejected that you're not there when you're watching your former peers that you played with, who are in that squad, in the likes of Zwane, Shabalala, etc. And you feel you're too big for that. But in this instance, if that is the case, which is what I think is, surely Chiefs have a leg to stand on here.
Yeah, well, Kaizer Chiefs, then obviously the Puso along with Unatim Daka and a few others had refused. I later learned that obviously because we saw them, they were there. Some of them did agree to go and be ball retrievers. I think that's the best word to use, ball retrievers instead of ball boys. But they were still suspended for being defiant, if I can put it that way. And on the back of that, Chiefs then terminated. I use the word termination because I've seen the correspondence between Chiefs and the parties that are involved. They call it a clearance letter. But if a clearance letter has an amount that's called the training and development compensation that Chiefs are requiring before.
Is that a new thing in football?
No, it's not
to
a new
pay
thing.
a compensation?
No, I mean the issue here from industry experts, agents, and scouts and whatever. The issue is how did Chiefs come to the 1.5 million amount?
Because so they put a 1.5 million bounty on these boys,
on these players that are being released.
And I know I think Umtaga in particular. There's a club in the KZN that was interested.
Yeah.
But the 1.5 was a bit too much.
Both players, my understanding is that they do currently have interest, and depending on how the parties that are interested see the situation, they may as well decide, well, Puso Ditajani or Unati are good enough, will pay
1.5
the 1.5 million
for a player who's never played PSL football.
Yeah. Look,
I don't know.
That a figure has to come Chiefs' way. They are the parent club. They've developed the players, so they are due. According to FIFA statutes, revised in 2001, they are due compensation. But that is determined by a transfer fee that is paid by the interested party. My understanding is that PSL
pay the money.
Yeah, PSL to PSL deal in that fashion would be 50,000 rands a year. Depending obviously on how many, if by that calculation it would assume those players have been at Chiefs for a lot longer for Chiefs to come to an amount of
1.5 million rands. And once again, because of the way that business is done in South Africa, it's a couple of people here and there that'll say, oh, that's preposterous, that's a lot, but truth be told, very few would actually know. Because we don't have that open barter system that is in Europe, that is in America, where even salaries are posted online.
Absolutely.
We just don't have that culture in South Africa. Right or wrong, and I stand on the side of the players who say they don't want their salaries to be known. Although another side of me says, if your salaries were known, you would not get players that still earn 5, 6, 7,000 rands.
No, absolutely.
But at the same time, I understand the privacy of keeping your salary, as I would want mine, and as I'm sure you would want yours, a secret as well. So it's a slippery slope, that. But 1.5, is it a lot? Is it not a lot?
Well, that's
it's a lot if you don't think the player's worth it.
Yeah, look, I mean, if you look in the recent transfer window in September, we saw Tariq Phillips move.
Andile, how's it, my man? It's a very sad day in South Africa. Bongi Ntuli of Amazulu. May his soul rest in peace. Condolences to the Amazulu family, his family, and his newlywed wife. It's not something to write home about, but I say, guys, condolences. We are praying for you. You will be strong. It's Moses Mukwena of Hamokogwaila. Thank you.
Yes, I want to end it. But then Pomson, I mean, in Carlo, Patega, Ulevan, Ulim, Patega, the room shut eggy, I said, so many call, I'm going to shoot him, Sabin, and I don't call Bola for that. And the then put on appropriate says, I shy, Andile, Man United, and will Barcelona.
I mean, United, I said,
that morning, put in a local.
Thank you, Timby. So, cricket. We're speaking. Hopefully, we can get a hold of Cass Naidu. Cass Naidu is working for the ICC, and she's in India, so she would have been at the stadium yesterday. So, hopefully, we get a hold of her tomorrow.
You cut me so you can talk about Cass Naidu. Cricket.
When did I cut you?
It's football show, Baba.
That's on Wednesday. Today, a lot of people asking about penalties, referees, and penalties, and people stepping off the line.
Yeah.
Can we address that on Soccer Zone?
Yes, we will do that.
So tonight, 10 o'clock on Soccer Zone.
Definitely.
Let's get into it. People, are there goalkeepers standing in line? Let me go to Lunga.
The weekend that was.
Hey, the weekend that was, my brother.
So no, man, first and foremost, I just want to say condolences to Ntuli's family. We just woke up with sad news. It's not nice. So, and second of all, I just want to comment on Chiefs youth players.
Go for it.
No, we got to say that Andile, sometimes there's news into Tina's baggy, shy phezulu, But at the end of the day, with Chiefs and grooming, it's grooming of young players. They were supposed to go to Barcelona for pants, so with no, the reason why I sent out this. But Kulma, from my point of experience, because I once worked with one of the big sponsors of Kaizer Chiefs, and then I support Kaizer Chiefs and support Arsenal. Thinking about it sometimes, because what I've seen and went through with the family, actually, sometimes it's so disappointing because this issue could have been solved easily. But sometimes the family likes throwing their weight around everything. But let me just save time for other listeners. The thing you go to
no principal, I'm not content. No,
I'm telling you.
No, I hear you. I think you make a very good point. I think we often hear just the one side of the story, and we don't always. And Chiefs is the kind of team that will keep things indoors. They're not going to come out with everything. So I do hear what you're saying, Lunga. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Bonkosi is out in Dobsonville. Bonkosi. No man, right, isn't it?
Ndikhona manje ngiqala ndithi nje awuhlanga ngehlanga kwifamily yamaZulu manje manje indaba ezibuhlungu lezi kodwa ke Andile ngifuna ukuthetha ngeSundowns. iSundowns idlala kakuhle Andile, ndiyabona nje abantu bakhala ngoButoil, uyabona yena ke ibingegame yakhe izolo, but asinokhala ngemistake eyi-1 and ndiyabona iSundowns bamhlamba kanje mhlawumbe because the way uSerino mdlalisa ngakhona, uSerino uright xa ngena as a substitution, uyabona uyakwazi ufunda igame. And xa Sunday xa sinofumana nje i-target man uSalulile or uMorena or uRibeiro ubekho nje umuntu ozoba phayana sibuya naye le cup Andile.
All right, no, I appreciate it. Mazola, apparently I cut you when you're about to tell us how much it cost Amazulu to pay for Phillies.
Less than 2 million rands. So imagine less than 2 million rands. And imagine a player who's 21 and never played top flight football goes for 1.5 million.
And Phillies was less than 2 million.
Phillies was less than 2 million from Cape Town City to Amazulu.
And I didn't catch you.
And he's got over 100 appearances for Cape Town City alone.
Yeah, but I mean, who's to put a price on young budding talent at 19, 20 years old, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what the future of that holds. Catch the three wise men alongside our panel, of course, that has the twins, Ityala Lamawele, Dludlu, as well as Umkonza on Soccer Zone this evening. We'll tackle so much on there, including the matter of Orlando Pirates that Coach Ribeiro mentioned a little bit earlier here. It was a somber show, but I think we would not be doing justice to the memory of Bongi Ntuli if we do not mention the Golden Arrows family led by Umama Madlala and the role that she played in this young man's life. You heard the family through the father there saying the exact same thing, that what they did for him gave him prominence and gave him life. Mamato sits more in the PSL offices than with the team nowadays.